Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center and I'm here with Mike with his movie, A Cake for Lizzie. Let's take a look at the clip.
I called in a favor and I had to move back. You gotta make Steven talk. You need to do this for her. You're gonna regret it if you don't.
How did it get so bad so quickly?
Mike, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I don't even know where to start with your film. It was just so powerful and moving. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Right, so A Cake for Lizzie tells the story of Sophia. She's a single mother and a dedicated police officer living in this dystopian future Los Angeles where food is rationed by a totalitarian government, right? So her daughter, Lizzie, is turning 10, and with that, she wants to bake her a cake, which is something that in this world is not common. People don't know about cakes anymore, right? So now this woman who's a police officer who fights against people in the black market selling food ingredients and all that stuff has to go down and start chasing these ingredients, going against her moral code and breaking all the rules to try and bake this something as simple as a cake.
It's an unbelievable story and quite scary to even imagine and to watch. But I love what you shared with us even at the festival, what your inspiration came from creating this story. So where did the inspiration come for you in creating this particular project?
Absolutely. So the idea is my country, Venezuela, is going through this humanitarian crisis. And when I started writing this, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it in an indirect way that maybe would connect with people that are maybe not following the news, maybe tune off when they hear about what's going on in a country that they don't know a lot about. Because I feel like, first of all, it's good for Venezuela. People know that this is going on. Like, there's food shortages, there's a lot of stuff over there. But I think it's also good for Americans and for people in other countries to learn about how quickly things can go badly for a country, right? Because 40 or 50 years ago, Venezuela was in a really good place or going to a good place, and now it's definitely not. So it's that kind of situation.
Well, I mean, as a wonderful Venezuelan from your country, which you are, I'm so thankful and proud that you made this film, for your country. And I think you did what a lot of people, a lot of the media don't do, particularly over in the United States, which they're not great at articulating the real problems or reasons behind problems or what's going on in other countries for real.
Right.
And the fact you articulated this a way for the Americans to almost understand, just what's going on in Venezuela, but from a perspective is so commendable. I'm so amazed that you did this, and I think that's a wonderful way to do it. Was that something you kind of wanted to articulate to countries like the United States to say, hey, if you keep going on things in the right way, this could happen to any country, to you, and it happens to many countries around the world as well.
Absolutely. I think if you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat it, but there's also, you gotta learn from other people's mistakes. And that's even harder, that idea, connecting with yourself with what somebody else is going through and learning from that. But there's, I think, definitely a lesson to be learned about Venezuela and why what happened in Venezuela happened. And it has to do with a lot of inequality, social inequalities and things like that can lead to a greater reaction that brings something like what happened to Venezuela. So it's all that stuff that we don't necessarily want to think about, but you gotta start thinking about.
Well, I think it's important, especially when you've got the heart of that country, you're born there. So I'm so glad that you articulated this into a film to almost tell people what is going on in the world. I think that's wonderful. From the first moment in the first scene, I was already in it. I couldn't believe what was going on. It was just grotesque to me that this guy who was just literally with sugar, literally with ingredients, and was being condemned by this almost FBI kind of group that were holding him back, and that was so powerful. This film felt like a feature film. It was really amazing. How do you start bringing your cast together firstly? Because you had a fantastic cast.
Thank you. We had great casting directors. Lisa Zambetti and Becky Silverman. They cast for TV shows. Criminal Minds, I think, is one of the big ones they cast.
Wow.
And they're fantastic. They
Yeah.
brought me a lot of great options. We sat down and we looked at all stuff, and then we brought some people in, and it was amazing, like the people
Yeah.
they came up with.
And what I loved as well is that, you created this universe of the future, where, it was the area in which you filmed, that particularly opening scene, it almost felt like, it actually felt like I kind of had almost like a favela kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Where did you film that?
So that was all filmed in a movie ranch.
Oh, wow.
So I went to a lot of movie ranches looking
Yeah.
for the right look. And the thing is, when I was writing the movie, it was all green.
Yeah.
It was all drought, sorry,
Uh-huh.
because you remember like a few years ago there was a big drought here.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for the film, but it got really green by the time we started filming. So all these movie ranches I would go to were covered in green. This one had a fire a year before, so everything was burned down. So it was perfect. As soon as I stepped in there and I saw the desolation and everything, it was perfect. So I knew that was a place, and then I knew I could add all the favelas and stuff in post.
Yeah. Wow.
So basically what it is, it's a desert location that
Yeah.
we found that had great mountains.
Yeah.
And then we added all the favelas and all the garbage and all the stuff in post-production.
How clever.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I
Yeah.
couldn't even believe that. And again, you sort of, because it's hard to do, obviously in a short film, to kind of like almost create this environment.
Right.
And then at the same time as having this, the big building that was, very intimidating, that you also was added in there. But then, when they were in their home, in their room, it just felt so scary what was going on outside as well, and that atmosphere. So how do you do you have a set that you kind of did the inside location as well, the interior design for the home of?
Yes, their home was built on one of the USC sets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, USC was very generous with letting us use the studios and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So we were very lucky that we were able to build a lot of our locations within
Yeah.
a set, and that gave us a lot more control over everything, and it allowed us within our budget to make all this happen.
And for you, taking on board this project, what was kind of the biggest challenges you faced?
So building the world for sure was one of the
Yeah.
big challenges.
Building the world, I think that's a big enough challenge, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's a world that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it exists in some ways, but not really. So it was finding the right locations and then adding a lot to it in post production.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a good team of people working with you to help you create that?
I did. I had an amazing team. I had a great producer,
Yeah.
Sam Shaib, who helped a lot, and production design was on point. So it was like the cinematographer, everybody just came together, and that's how we got through it.
And I think it's, I popped in to see, because I really wanted to feel what people in the audience felt watching your film, because you can't help watch your film and be affected and imagine what that could be like. What was your experience like at NewFilmmakers LA and having an audience watching your film, because you get quite a big reaction.
Yeah, it was a great reaction that I got. I think it's a great collection of films that you guys put together in general, and I was very proud that my film was part of it, and it was great to see it with an audience and feel the reactions in the room and all that stuff.
And what did you like? Again, I think the inspiration for you making this project was wonderful, but what did you really want to for your audience to kind of take from it away?
There's a few things that I want the audience to take away. One of them is we feel like there's a black and white in terms of what's right and what's wrong, but then when you start analyzing some of these things, like morality becomes more like shades of gray, and that's like the thing. If you're connecting with Sophia by the end, and you're okay with her stealing these ingredients or doing whatever she does, it should make you question a little bit at the end. I'm not obviously condoning stealing, but I'm saying like you realize that situations can get a lot more complicated than you think, and that's with something like this. And hopefully also people will go home and read up on what's going on in Venezuela.
As they should. That's really what we should be doing as well. What is next for you?
So I found this fantastic script. It's a single location thriller, and I got an option on it. And right now I'm working on a sizzle reel and a few other things.
Oh, congrats.
To go out, thanks, to go out and get the financing for it.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And is it a feature or is it?
It's a feature.
Oh, great. That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
what, are you going to film it in Los Angeles?
Yes, most of it takes place inside of a hotel room. So we're gonna build the stage inside of a studio and film it in there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I honestly, like, I can't tell you how, you know, on behalf of your wonderful country and even the United States and anyone that gets a chance to see your film, how thankful I am that you've made this film, because I think it's such an important, informative and educational film to perspective to realize, you know, what is happening and what could happen if, you know, things don't go accordingly politically in the country, etc. And so I commend you for that. But what, for you, you know, as a filmmaker, what kind of piece of advice do you go for, or that you may have go by in your career thus far, that you could maybe share filmmakers that want to kind of follow in your footsteps?
So I think film is all about teamwork, and it's about building your team, and that means, you know, collaborating with people, and, you know, that's something that you realize very quickly when you're in these projects and all that stuff, is that the more you can collaborate with other people and give other people responsibilities and stuff like that, the better it goes. And I've seen it go both ways, and it's good when you have a good team. And for me, that's what it was all about, building a good team, people I could trust, and that was, I think that's something that every filmmaker should definitely
team and trust is everything.
It's not about yourself, it's about, you know, the project and the final result.
Yeah, you had a great team, so it worked, right?
Yeah.
Listen, Mike, thank you so much. I can't wait to just, I want to keep seeing more of your films, because I love them, and I love this one so much, and everybody should see this. So thank you very much for Cake for Lizzie, and we look forward to so much more work, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Mike, everybody, thank you very much.